Welcome back, Tribe. We have an interesting one here that's going to piss people off. It's from this channel called Modernity. France is no longer France. And, the policies women have been voting for en masse is coming back to bite them in the ass.
This disturbing account from a young woman living in Lyon, France's third largest city, really exemplifies why Marine Le Pen's anti-mass migration national rally just won the first round of the French election. It's so revealing and powerful, I'm just going to read through the whole thing. From the French translation, which was provided by Pascal Emmanuel Gobry. I'm 26 years old, blonde with light eyes, and I've always lived in the 6th arrondissement of Lyon, which is thought of as the poshest area in Lyon, and my daily life has become unbearable. I write this because 10 years ago I could go out with my friends in the evening at any hour without being bothered, insulted, followed or stabbed. I mentioned stabbing because 3 years ago my boyfriend, along with 2 of his friends on their way home, were approached by a group of men. They surrounded them, stole one of their cell phones. They tried to fight back, and my boyfriend, in spite of being a strong rugby man, got stabbed in the arm while protecting his neck, which was the target. As for myself, on a regular basis, men follow me, insult me because I refuse to talk back or because I say I have a boyfriend. One day, one spit on me. More and more I am whistled at like a dog, or like I'm a cat. Acts of this nature have happened to me perhaps 30 times in the past year. 6 months ago, we adopted a puppy. One evening, my boyfriend went out to walk him at 9 p.m. and 3 men tried to steal the puppy. Since then, we only go out in the evening as a couple, and I always carry pepper spray in my purse. In our neighborhood, just in our block, there are 3 drug dealing spots which work constantly, day and night, with everything that entails. Watchmen loitering outside our house, milling about, shouting, getting high and bothering people, especially women. Every single one of the actions I mentioned, and they're only part of what we have gone through, is the fact of men of sub-Saharan African or North African origin. A white man has never behaved towards me the way they have. Is it racist to call out what my daily life has become as a woman because of immigration? Is my reality, my daily life, racist? Am I not as legitimate as any other person to call out traumatizing acts of violence just because they are done by foreigners or immigrants? To be clear, I'm not talking about men in general, but specifically men, sometimes underage, who are of immigrant background. Now, and for about 4 years, the way I live my life has had to change to live with this constant insecurity. Now I live with a pepper spray outside my front door, a taser and a false pistol after an attempted break-in. We've had an extra lock added to our door. We have a security camera in our apartment. In my purse, I carry a second pepper spray as well as brass knuckles on my keychain. I never walk into a building without checking both sides of the street in case a man is following me. I never make eye contact with you-know-who. I constantly cross the street. I no longer leave my home on my own after 9 p.m. I no longer use public transport for obvious reasons. I'm afraid when I'm alone at home. I'm afraid when outside. Now, I am always afraid. I do not want this future for my children, who fortunately are not yet here. I do not understand people who do not see that France is turning into a cradle of insecurity because of immigrant men. Insecurity to women, but to men as well. Therefore, for your future and those of your children or your children to be, cast the right vote. And remember, this particular phenomenon, where street harassment of women has become so routine, is a form of cultural enrichment which is by no means exclusive to France.
And I found the full breadth of this clip that they show next.
Without a shadow of a doubt, yet again, women so often, overwhelmingly, the victims of sex offenders. And women are getting a really, really harsh deal in this country and further afield these days, whether it be through sex offenders not being convicted, and we know how minuscule the convictions are for rape, for example, about assaults going on public transport, in public spaces that are not reported because women are going, what's the point?
Yeah.
Please do report it. I urge you, I beg you to report it. And further matters that hugely affect the wonderful women of this nation, like transgender shared spaces and the such like.
What do you think, Alice? Because you talked about this morning.
This is such an important issue for me because I've been living in London for 10 years. I've also lived in multiple other countries around the world. Never before have I felt as unsafe as I do now. When I walk down the street, I'm increasingly being leered at. I'm increasingly being followed like I'm going around the souks of Morocco. And it's not visibly, to me anyway, people who were born and bred here. It isn't. And it's very difficult because we're not allowed to talk about it because, oh my gosh, that breaks taboo. Oh, you're a racist if you say this. I'm sorry. A lot of women going about their daily business feel that their safety is being directly threatened by people who are coming from different cultures. And this needs to be discussed because I've had enough. All my other female friends have had enough. When I put this stuff online, the number of comments online from other women saying they've had enough and saying thank you for talking about this. Was it not enough when we noticed what was going on with grooming gangs? Was it not enough when we see what's happened to the victim of Abdul Azadi? When are we going to have the conversation that women's safety is being mortgaged at the altar of mass immigration and this faux political correctness?
And I speak to many other women who suffer the same indignities and offences like you do, who don't have a public profile, who are not in the media. And they are echoing what you are saying about the utterly unacceptable behaviour that they are being subjected to. And I keep urging them to report it. And of course, it is an indisputable fact that there are cultures in other countries in this world where women are treated as second, third, fourth, fifth class citizens.
And they have a saying, import the third world, become the third world. And I hate to say it, but some of these people shouldn't even be allowed in here, and they commit multiple offenses and still allowed to stay on asylum and all that other shit. So, porous borders in America, letting millions in, Europe importing millions of people as well. And there's no way to assimilate them properly in society. It's too many, too soon, too quickly, all at once. And they create parallel societies of ghettos where they don't integrate at all whatsoever. Hello, Sweden. Any Swede will tell you what their major cities have become. After opening their borders with open arms, we welcome everybody. Turns out you shouldn't actually do that. Women, of course, being liberal as they are one of the massive voting blocs that actually put in power the parties that voted for these exact policies. Women push these policies. Now there is a blowback happening of epic proportions where, just like the French woman before, is now feeling the effects and the consequences of her voting. And now we're having far right, is what they call it, far right parties exploding all across Europe. It's far right to want controlled borders. It's far right to want mass migration to stop. It's far right to want to kick out all the migrants that aren't contributing to society out. It's far right to want to maintain your country's identity. France is for French people. England is for English people. And every other country is for every other country's people. That's racist to say, though. Cultural enrichment.
Mortgaged at the altar of mass immigration and this faux political correctness.
It's become so commonplace. A new video out of France shows a transgender person being harassed by the usual suspects.
Shows the camera and he's like, no, and just runs away after.
They really don't discriminate, do they? Will the transgender community be speaking out against this? Will feminists in France be protesting against the fact that 77% of all rapes in Paris are committed by non-French migrants?
Would you look at that? Of the 97 known struggle snuggles committed on the street of Paris, 30 were solved. According to information from Europe, 36 people were arrested. Among them, 28 are of foreign nationality, or 77% of those involved, according to the figures recorded by police headquarters. And they stopped recording the ethnicity or nationality of these in parts of the UK, I believe, and Scandinavian countries. It just says man or a group of youths instead of saying what they actually are. It's funny, isn't it? Not so funny to the victims, though.
Migrants. No, they're too busy getting topless to protest against Marine Le Pen.
French women are protesting racism and the far right by baring their breasts and mopping.
See what I mean?
The only candidate who wants to put a...
Do you see what I mean? mopping the streets topless, protesting what? The patriarchy, masculinity, the white man holding you down. What is it that you're protesting? You see how white women vote for these policies and it comes back to bite them in the ass? I mean, it's shocking when you see stuff like it. What could you possibly say? A huge swath of people are voting against their own interest and they don't even see it. And the society around them is crumbling, becoming far more dangerous for them, particularly being the fairer sex. And they don't see how they can't even walk alone at night anymore, or how they don't even feel safe in their own homes. And they can't make the link how the people they're voting for and the policies that they're upholding is directly causing these issues in their personal lives. Wild.
A stop to all this. Now Macron and the far left, which he called extremists throughout the campaign, are teaming up to block Le Pen's national rally from forming an absolute majority in parliament, meaning the kind of immigration policies that would reverse the street harassment of women by our new diverse population won't stand a chance of being enacted. Shit libs are literally voting for all this to continue and get worse. Because thanks to mass migration, France is no longer France.
And that's happening more and more throughout Western Europe. No, Western white women voted for this. It's called an invasion, not migration. It's not racism, it's common sense. This says feminists. Men are bad. Also feminists. Migrant men good. I'm Colombian and I've been in France for 5 years. Throughout my time here, I faced various issues, including threats and attempted robberies. My friend's jacket was stolen. Another friend was robbed at an ATM, and yet 3 more had her phone stolen. In all these instances, the aggressors and thieves shared a common background. Contrary to what governments often claim, these incidents are not isolated cases. P.S. When they tracked their stolen phones, they were all in Morocco, Algeria. There you go. As a trans women going undercover as real women to expose what real women go through every day is a plot twist I'm on board with. Having spent some time now in Croatia and living in Romania full time, it's insane the difference between Eastern Europe, Balkan Europe, and Western Europe. I never in a million years expected that Romania would be compared to something like France or Sweden or the UK or Germany, be clean, be safe, be civilized, be friendly, be a place you'd actually want to live and raise a family. God, when my parents left Romania and I was growing up in America, Romania was seen as this backwater, shithole, communist, repressive, no opportunity, dirty, thieving, gypsy, crime-ridden place. Imagine my shock when I went back last year, not knowing what to expect, being gone since I was a kid in kindergarten, first, second grade, and to see this modernized, beautiful version that even makes America look sad. I was used to tent cities. I was used to crime. I was used to carrying my piece. I was used to shootouts happening at night, ambulances going off, angry, crazy people all over the place. Going to enjoy a nice dinner with my girlfriend, good luck. There's some homeless person having a mental breakdown or grabbing, I'll never forget this. I was grabbing a boba tea with my girlfriend. She went inside to get us the boba tea. I'm parked literally right in front of the boba tea. The corner of the boba tea on the strip mall, there's a guy literally doing the zombie thing. He's like currently high or coming down from a high and looks like World War Z shit. He's literally having a zombie breakout, a high, scratching his neck, scratching his face, like biting his lips and shit. And my girlfriend's walking in there getting a tea and I'm going, holy fuck. Is this guy potentially going to lash out and try something? And while he's having his like breakdown high, am I going to have to get out of the car and fight a homeless person? Is this what America has become? I can't even grab a boba tea without seeing the collapse of America. I come to Romania and I see maybe one homeless person. One. The entire time I'm there. There are no tent cities. The sidewalks are clean. There are terraces open with people enjoying their dinners. Families are everywhere. The parks are clean. There's children playing, laughter. People are attending church. The churches are full on Sunday. Sense of community is still here. And that's in the capital, the most rotten place you could possibly be in any city. That's the capital. I won't even bother describing the countryside to you because it seems like a time that's never existed if you live in America. It's like your great-great-great-grandpappy's time was like that. That's the insane difference. If I'm seeing this in the capital city, of an Eastern European country. Can you imagine what the regional cities are, some of the smaller towns, the villages? It's incredible, man. Boy, oh boy, how policies actually make a difference. What's happening with Western Europe is incredible. I mean, look at the interest. France's insane election results explain. France's insane results by TLDR News EU. 500,000 views in 3 days. They're insane. The results are insane. It's nutty that people are seeing the policies of the leftist political class blow up in their faces. The average person is dealing with the blowback of mass migration. Their communities are becoming unsafer. Drugs have proliferated. Crime has proliferated. Sweden is becoming one of the struggle snuggle capitals of Europe. Crime, gangs battling in the streets. And these are insane election results for France. Isn't that something? And that's far right to vote to preserve your nation's culture, your nation's identity, the civility of your nation. All right. Tune into the Euros 2024 groups, though. Don't worry, soccer's being played. Somebody's going to be crowned a winner. Don't worry about all your problems, pleb. Vote along party lines as you are used to. We will continue degrading your society. But hey, someone's going to hold the golden trophy. Bread and circuses. We'll see you on the next one.